I wake up in the morning feeling like myself. Grab my glasses, I'm out of bed, I'm gonna hit the couch. Before I do, I brush my teeth and I don't look back. 'Cause when I start Prodigy, I have to attack.
Hi, third graders. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of science and a little bit of math. And Miss Emily is here because you all said that was your favorite when we baked together. So I'm going to go over some terms that I'm going to be using and also to help me keep things straight. So we have mass, which is how much something weighs. So it's another word for weight. And then volume is the amount of space inside of a figure. So if this glass, if we wanted to figure out the volume, we'd fill it up with water, and then like how much water in there would be the volume. And then density is the property of matter that compares an object's mass to its volume. So the size of something, how much mass it has, and its volume equals its density. So what we have here, we'll explain that a little bit further later, but right here I have measured out, and I have used my measuring cup. If you look closely, it's very dirty and filled with stuff because I filled up to the half cup 3 times, which would be more than a whole. And so we have water, syrup, and oil. And I'm going to put them in this cup and we're going to figure out which one is more dense. The more dense thing has more mass per volume and will sink to the bottom. But before I do that, me and Miss Emily are going to make our hypotheses of which one we predict will be the most dense, the least dense, and then I guess which one is in the middle as well. So we have water, corn syrup, and vegetable oil. The corn syrup is pretty sticky, so I don't know if that's a good way to hypothesize. I think the corn syrup will probably be the most dense, so it will sink to the bottom. And then I think it's going to go corn syrup, oil, and then water. I think that's the level. That's my hypothesis. Miss Emily, what's your hypothesis?
I agree with you. The corn syrup's going to be on the bottom because it is like really sticky. I would describe it as dense, like when I cook with it. Now, what was your second? You said oil and then water. I don't know, because sometimes when I cook, you get like bubbles of oil on top of the water. So I'm going to guess oil on top, water in the middle, corn syrup on the bottom.
Okay, so we'll write our hypotheses down in a little bit. Good inferencing. Way to use your previous knowledge to predict something.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to add some food coloring just to make it a little more fun and be able to tell the syrup and the water.
Let's see them. It's
apart.
because they're all like really similar colors.
So we're going to add some green to the water. Don't want to get that on the counter.
Yeah, this is very messy.
But with your parents' permission, feel free to try this out. I'm going to mix it. And then should I add the purple to the corn syrup or the olive oil?
Let's do the corn syrup because the oil's already pretty yellow.
So we're adding the purple in there.
I don't know how well those things mix, but no time like the present to find out. Ooh. That's exciting.
That's a really cool color. All right. You know, I make caramel corn with corn syrup. Imagine if I dyed it purple.
Missed opportunity.
There's always time.
We have nothing but time right now.
Love you guys. I miss you, and we will have to do this experiment together sometime, maybe with some other liquids. All right, so which one should I pour in first, Miss Emily?
This is probably where we should have consulted a real science blog for how to add these.
I think we'll do the oil first, because they should separate each other if they have different densities.
Yes.
Oil.
So, oil first.
So the volume, it doesn't fill up the full volume of the glass yet. Let's add the syrup next.
Oh, wow.
It's actually going underneath, so as of right now, it's more dense than...
So right now, both of our hypotheses are true because we both said that the corn syrup would sink to the bottom.
Now we're going to add the water, so I guess we're
Hold
going to
on, we gotta get that video value.
Oh, looks good. That's super cool. And then now we're going to add the water, and I said the water would go on the top, and Miss Emily said it would go to the middle.
I did. You're gonna want to pour that very carefully down the side, please.
precision is important with scientific experiments.
Ooh.
There's a little bit of bubble, but remember we colored our water green, so that did go to the middle. So we'll let it set for a little bit, but I think this is a pretty accurate measurement of our density. So the corn syrup is the most dense, then the water, and then the oil is the least dense.
That's super interesting because you did half a cup of each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they all have the same volume, correct? Because they're each a half a cup. But they probably have different masses then, which is what gives them their different densities. So even though they have the same volume, like that corn
volume
syrup
is the amount of
weighs
space,
more.
and they all...
Yeah, they all took up the same amount of
half a
space in
cup.
there.
Cool.
Interesting.
I like the color choice.
I know, it's very festive.
We'll let that sit for a little bit.
Is that like Mardi Gras colors or like a French flag?
I don't know. All right, we
That'll
have
be our
another
next lesson.
experiment for you, so hang tight.
All right, Miss Emily here. While we wait for these to kind of like finish leveling out, I think they're almost there. I think my hypothesis was more right than Miss Heiser's, but I won't brag. She had a very good hypothesis based on her information. We are going to do a second experiment for you. So Stephanie, Miss Heiser, and I were talking about how confusing it can be that things that look the same actually can weigh very different. And how does that happen? What does it look like? So I have two different kinds of ice cubes, okay? These are metal ice cubes. I have them in my home so I can put them in drinks in the summertime and they don't melt. So that is what this is here. And then I also have just regular ice cubes. So this is just some nice frozen water. Keep them in my freezer. So both of these are about the same size. And really they do the exact same thing. But one of them is just frozen water. And water expands when it freezes. So this should do something different than this, which is very dense, which means it's a lot heavier because it's metal. So before I put these in the water, I want you guys to take a guess what they're going to do. You all have put ice cubes probably in a glass of water before you've seen it, right? So what do you think this is going to do? Do you think it's going to sink to the bottom, float on the top, or kind of hang out in the middle? Like if it was a color liquid, do you think it would be the yellow, the green, or the purple? And then I want you to think about the same thing for this metal cube. Do you think that this is going to sink to the bottom and be like the purple, or stay in the middle, kind of like the green, or float to the top like the oil there? You leave your answer in the comments. I'll have a very dramatic pause. You can go. You can type. I'll be here. How's your day, Miss Heiser?
It's been pretty good.
Yeah?
Took a nap. It was nice.
You did take a nap. You went for a walk, too. That was good.
I did go for a walk before it rained.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's true.
All right,
Okay,
here we go.
do
I think we can
another time?
test our...
All right. So I'm going to drop them at the same time.
Whoa!
Isn't that cool? So a similar mass, right? That's how much... No, that's what was different. See, this is what's important. They have very different mass, even though they're a very similar size. So they both fit in the palm of my hand, but they had very different masses, which allowed one of them to sink to the bottom and one to float to the top. Science.
Science rules.
Yeah.
All right, friends, that about finishes up our second Friday video. I guess it's kind of the third because I made that really, really short one on the first Friday. But I've enjoyed making these videos for you, and I love chatting with you and getting your feedback on different things that I should do. We did make it to 31,000 questions. It was so close. I logged in yesterday to check, and we were like 15 questions away. So nice job getting to 31,000 questions. I know some of you worked extra super hard to get there. And then I look forward to logging on to Prodigy at 2:30 to challenge some of you. My name is Stephanie Legend Walker, and I sent information as to what world I'll be in to your parents, so check that out. I can't remember off the top of my head. But keep working hard. We've discussed so far, we've learned a little bit about time, different types of measurement, fractions. We've discussed fractions. We're learning about inferencing and main idea. So a lot of different things to learn about and continuing to have fun. So I'm going to finish our day up today with reading a little bit more of The Secret Zoo. I haven't read ahead yet, so you're reading right along with me. We are on chapter 2, A Cryptic Message. So let's see how long this chapter is. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So I'm going to read all 5, and yeah, it's exciting. Talking to myself is always kind of weird, but I love you guys, and so I know I'm actually talking to you. All right. A Cryptic Message. Tap, tap, tap. Noah sat up, glanced around the dimly lit room, and listened. Had he imagined it? Tap, tap, tap. The sound came again. He jumped out of bed. Who's there? He called. Tap, tap. The window answered. He crept across the floor, not knowing what he might find. Was it a branch wrapping his window? Could a loose shutter be rattling? Tap, tap, tap. He stood at the window and peered out. He saw nothing but the black, starlit sky. No branch, no loose shutter, nothing. Tap, tap. He strained his eyes to see better, but all he saw was the night. Tap, 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 tap. He swung open the window. The cool air brushed his skin, and goosebumps rose along his arms. A bird had perched on the window ledge, barely the size of his thumb. It had shiny blue feathers and a bright red bill. As it looked at Noah, it tipped its head from side to side inquisitively. Relief washed over the boy from head to toe. You scared me half to. The bird sprang off the ledge, flew into his room, and circled near the ceiling. Ooh. I have a connection with that. I don't know what's going to happen with the bird, but the other day I was on a walk with a family member, and we were walking, and there's a geese in a lake, and we were on the other side of the lake, and the geese started going right across the water, and it lifted up over the fence and came like right at us, looking right into our eyes, and we like ran, and oh, it was scary. So I don't know how I would handle a bird flying into my room. Hey, Noah shouted, get out of here. The bird fluttered around for several seconds before it perched on a lampshade near the bed. It snapped its head back and forth, staring at Noah as if it expected something. Out, Noah ordered. Get out! Then, as suddenly as the bird had flown into the room, it lifted off the lampshade, dived through the window, and flew out, all in the blink of an eye. Good. Noah brushed his hands together, happy to be done with the bird, but as he walked towards the window to close it, the winged creature darted back in. Get out, I said. The bird continuously circled near the ceiling. Each time it veered overhead. Noah jumped up and tried to snag it out of the air. After his 5th or 6th jump, he noticed that the bird was clutching something in its tiny talons, a piece of paper. A moment later, the bird dropped the paper into the hollow of Noah's pillow, headed for the window, and perched on the sill. Puzzled, Noah stared at the bird. He watched its beady eyes darting from his face to the paper, reminding him of the way his grandmother would restlessly wait for someone to unwrap a present. Its expression said, well, this was given to you for a reason. The paper on the pillow was wrinkled and torn, and it looked as though it had spent a week in a puddle. He picked it up and flattened the crease to reveal a funny-looking monkey with bushy eyebrows, a tuft of hair growing on its chin, and a long tail. The heading above the photo read, Come to the Clarksville City Zoo and see our new friend, Mr. Talltail. Noah had seen Mr. Talltail at the zoo many times. He certainly wasn't a new arrival. This was an old flyer. What's going on? Noah turned towards the bird. The bird was gone. Noah looked back at the paper. Mr. Talltail stared at him with wide, worried eyes. Noah read it again. Come to the Clarksville City Zoo and see our new friend, Mr. Talltail. This is nothing. It's trash that a bird picked up, Noah told himself. But he had read about birds acting as messengers and delivering notes to people. Don't be dumb, Noah muttered. We have email these days. Besides, this paper doesn't have a message. There's not a... He peered at the heading. A few of the words had holes in them, tiny holes. that looked as if someone had punched them out with the tip of a pencil, or maybe with the tip of a tiny beak. No way. He read out loud only the words with the holes. To the Clarksville City Zoo and our new friend. It made no sense. Wait a minute. He scanned the words without holes in them. Come see Mr. Talltail. Was this a message? No, he mumbled. It can't be. He read the new sentence again without pausing between the words. Come see Mr. Talltail. The sentence was complete, structured, even instructional. Noah raised his eyes to the window. The sill was empty. The wind blew gentle ripples through the ivory-colored drapes. He shivered. The drapes looked like a ghost. And that's where we're going to stop there. Have a very good weekend, friends, and I look forward to chatting with many of you on Monday and Tuesday of next week. One final note is I did share a Kahoot. I learned that you can do Kahoot on your own, and then I'll get all the scores later to see how we did. It's about butterflies, so enjoy. I love you.